Jay, and I would like to welcome you to this morning. We will unveil a bit of what the whole journey was, the epic journey was all about.
So maybe just a little bit, we'll explain a little bit about our journey itself. And we knew this was going to be our home for the next 1.5 months. And I remember that first day, both of us were like, well, how are we going to do this? And I think that's where teamwork comes in.
And we had to cross the Khumbu Icefall. Khumbu Icefall is all ice blocks that are as high as buildings, as high-rise buildings. And we had to cross that. We had to cross that Khumbu Icefall every time we did a rotation. We had to cross the Khumbu Icefall. That was one of the most scariest moments to actually go through this.
The rotations, which means from base camp, you go to Camp 1 and you cross the Khumbu Icefall. It's about a 6-hour journey to get to Camp 1. Then you come back down to base camp to sleep. You sleep 1 night at Camp 1, back down to base camp. And then a few rest days, those active rest days, and then back to Camp 2, where you up again. Second rotation, Camp 1 stay 1 night, Camp 2 stays 2 nights, come back down.
Well, I had a small issue on my foot where they had to do a little operation. It was a tough decision, but I had to make the decision to turn back. And I knew that I would not be able to make it back. But at the same time I thought, 8,300 meters, 8,400 meters where I was standing was victory for me. And that was how I made up my mind. I thought this was one of the highest points, and at that point my immediate thought was, I hope Jay is on top. Because like I said, we went as a team. And for me it was very important, and I think Jay will recall, the first thing I asked her was, did you summit? I hope you summited. Or I asked somebody as I came down, did Jay summit? That was the first thing I wanted to know, because it was about a team effort, and I think we both were winners in a way. So making the decision was tough. The thought process was, there were mixed feelings. I was a bit angry, I was a bit upset, I was sad. But that turned immediately, and I knew that I had got to a certain point and I had made the right decision. And we didn't realize what it was till we got there, and your body is literally dying. Coming down was one of the hardest things, and most accidents happen coming down, because that's why your body is giving up, and you've got to keep your mind focused. And I think Jay will also tell you later on at some point that it was the hardest thing to come down.
Everything was difficult, to be honest. Like I said, just sometimes even the basic things like eating was difficult because you lose your appetite the higher you go, but you had to eat. Drinking water was tiring, just drinking 2 glugs from our bottle and we were panting. The most hardest part was on the summit day when I was coming back down, and at a place called the balcony they change your Sherpa guide, changes your oxygen cylinder. So while he's changing it, at that time when he's taking one cylinder out and putting another one into your backpack, you would also change the regulator. And because it was up there, the cylinder was up at that height, it had frozen up, and for a few minutes I didn't have oxygen. I think it might have been about 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and I just really thought that was the end, because I couldn't breathe and my hands were freezing also. So I sort of got into like a spasm, I think.
Many of those moments, because everything when you look around, all you see is everything's white. And there were the moments that I sat there, and I'm sure Jay did, we both did together as well, and said, what are we doing here? Are we doing the right thing, Yes, there were the moments that we felt quite down, we felt lonely, and like I said earlier, one day I turned to Jay and I said, I know how I'm going to do this, and then of course we supported each other and we said, we have to do this, we've come together, we've come as a team. So yes, there were those moments.
I think maybe the full gravity might only hit a bit later on. It's been a childhood dream, so I still can't believe that I'm back here in Sri Lanka, back on my bed, in shorts and t-shirt and rubber slippers, having really climbed this peak, this big mountain. As a woman, I'm very, very proud because my background also has been working on gender equality for women's rights, working against violence against women. So I'm very proud that as a woman, I was able to achieve this for the country, as a team, of course. I'm very proud as a woman to have been able to do this, and I guess definitely proud that it is the first time for Sri Lanka, and that we were able to take the flag up there to the top of the world.
We've been training for a long time. Jay was doing her own thing, of course, and then we started doing combined training together as well. We had a set training program. We had about 2 or 3 trainers who were with us, who were specifically training us for certain tasks. And we were running with rice bags in our backpacks and running up with Ruthalagala and down. We were swimming. There was also Matthew Abesinger, who is our swimmer, who also trained me, gave me tips of what to do underwater to expand the lungs. He trained me a couple of times. But it's amazing with all the fitness we did. There was one day Jay turned to me and said, "Yo, we've been doing so much, but we were so tired." So, nothing seems to be enough. When you go up there, nothing seems to be enough because it's a completely different thing altogether.
That's an interesting question. I would definitely agree with you that, like, even though I had this dream as a child, it was not something I wanted to do on my own. So when I met Johan in 2011, and I heard about it, and then a friend put us in touch and said, "Here, there's this person called Jayanti, she wants to climb with you all." And then I spoke to him and I realized he's as mad as me in terms of wanting to climb Mount Everest. So I think that's where teamwork, where the team started. I achieved the top because of our teamwork and because of Johan. All that encouragement really paid off and helped.
There was a time before when we were getting ready also, when things were not falling into place. And Jay turned around and said, "Yo, you go. Yeah? Leave me, you go and do this." But at that point I said no. I said, we do it together or we don't do it at all. Because I don't think it is something that you can't do on your own, yeah, and alone. I remember a reporter asking us just before we left at the airport, "Why did you choose her? Didn't you have anybody else or whatever?" I'm sure it was because she was a female. They asked me that. And I said, "No, I couldn't have found a better partner." To me, I don't think I would have done this journey without her. There was this kind of bond that we had to make, and we had to support each other to keep each other going right to the top or till the last day.
And back down as well.